Hi everybody! In this lesson we're going to explore the tips and tricks to being able to manage all of your different classrooms. In this lesson we're going to look at how do we organize our Google Classrooms, how do we archive our Google Classrooms and why would we do that, how do we delete our Google Classrooms, and be able to be ready for that next term. So I'm going to take you through all of those different steps. It's so easy, and we're even going to throw in how to handle all of those email notifications. So the first step for you to do is to join me at classroom.google.com. When you're here, this is where you're going to see all of the different classrooms that you currently have active. These are classrooms that you are either a teacher in or that you're enrolled in. I can tell I'm enrolled in classrooms because if you see the little icon of your teacher, this is where you'll know you've been enrolled in a classroom instead of being the student in it. One of the things I really love about the new Google Classroom setup is I am able to move around and organize these classrooms simply by clicking and dragging. So that if I do want to have a particular classroom in a particular order, I can do that, including your students as well. You can also move classrooms by clicking the three dots and you can say move. What this will do is it's going to give you a list so that you can move things to the beginning, to the end, and being able to drag them around. Now, we did give you the pro tip at the beginning of the course saying it is a better idea to have smaller Google Classrooms for smaller content, because when you want to go and reuse those posts, you don't want to have to look through 10 months of content to find the post you're trying to reuse. Another new feature that's really fantastic is that we now have the ability to copy a classroom. So this is what we're going to wrap our heads around. When we used to build virtual classrooms on MyCSD, what we would do is we would build a virtual classroom. It would stay set how it looked. We would invite students in with permissions, then we'd kick those students out and we'd invite new students in, and this was that flow we had every year. Now with the new Google Classroom, we don't need to do that. What we do is we build a classroom, we invite students in, and when the term is done, we archive that classroom. What that means is all of the work stays in the Google Drive, but nobody can interact in that classroom anymore. No more comments, no more back and forth, no more workflow. But I still have the ability to reuse the posts from any archive classroom in this year's classroom. So that's really fantastic. Deleting a classroom is deleted. It's done. It's over. That classroom doesn't exist anymore. Yes, the files stay in the Google Drive. However, you no longer have access to any of those assignments to be able to reuse the post. That's the biggest difference. Copying a classroom is another brand new feature. What that means is I've taken this whole classroom with all of the great topics and posts and things that I've made, and I'm able to copy the entire classroom, and now I can invite in new students. So this is a really nice brand new feature. Now, it isn't laminated lesson plans. You still have the opportunity to control the pace of which those assignments are released, as well as to tweak the details. So those are those three big things I'm about to show you what it looks like. So let's start by archiving a classroom. Let's say that I have a classroom from last year and I need to start a new one for this year because it's the easiest way to handle it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose my classroom and I'm going to click the three dots. You'll notice that one of it says archive. That means it's going to be put into that special section where nobody can interact with it anymore, but all your files remain in the Google Drive. Archive. And it's gone. Now, what if I wanted to delete a classroom, not just archive it? Well, that's actually done in the Pancake Stack, our classroom menu. Scroll all the way down to the bottom and you're going to see something that says archived classes. When you go into the archived classes, these are the ones that are no longer active. But it's here that you can permanently delete the classroom. You have to archive first in order to delete. So I'm going to add a sample class here. I don't need this anymore. I do have the opportunity to restore archive classes, but in this particular case, I'm going to delete it. This is a permanent delete. No longer will you have any access to the posts or comments or assignments. Now I'm going to go back to my main menu and I'm going to show you copying a class. Copying a class is exciting because if I did a really good job of putting together some fantastic topics and modules and I'm ready to go for this year, a couple of the things I can do is I'm able to copy an entire class. Now, this only will apply to the new Google Classrooms that you've created since this past August update. I can't copy a class that I had last year. Bummer. But what I can do is I can create a new class. I can reuse all the posts from that class from last year. And now this year, I will be able to copy the entire class because it's in the new Google format. So let me show you. So here's a great class I really had a lot of fun with last year. As soon as I click those 3 dots, I can only edit it, move it, or archive it. But if I was to look at one of my other classrooms up here that I have started since I was able to see the changes in August, one of those ones now says copy. If I copy the classroom, I still have the opportunity to change the class name. I can change the section and the subject and everything. Once I say copy, it's going to just create that classroom for me with the new name, and then I'll have access to all of the different posts. So you see that it's made it right here. There's my renamed classroom. I can go into it. What's fantastic is it copies over the topics and it copies over the assignments and it copies them over in draft format. So they're all sitting here completely organized and ready. But now it's up to me to be able to go into it and actually edit the material and post it. So you don't necessarily have to have your entire class copied over and now kids have access to everything. So I can still take my time to go through and post what I need to when I need to without having to rebuild and reuse everything. This is a game-changing feature. But I'll notice in the stream, my stream is refreshed and brand new. So it was empty earlier, and because I just posted the information for our class website, that's why there's that announcement there. So for all you teachers that have made these amazing modules and learning opportunities for your students, all that work of organization is preserved for you so that you can simply just copy it over. This is exciting. The last thing I want to show you now is how to be able to control your notifications. In order to control your notifications, you go to the pancake stack in the top left-hand corner, and if you scroll to the very bottom, you're going to see settings. Here is where you can actually change what you get emailed about. So you can turn email notifications completely on or off. And if you have them on, you can actually customize what you'd like to get the notifications for. So in this case, I have my comments turned on because I want to be able to monitor the class discussion. But I turned off all of the other notifications because I'm able to go and check the classroom on my own for that. It's completely up to you and how many notifications you want. What's exciting is that they've also added the opportunity to customize which classes you want to get notifications from. So in the very bottom, it says class notifications. So it'll take these notification settings and I can say, I would like to get the notifications only for the following classes. So in this particular case, maybe I'll turn off the notifications for classes that I'm doing professional development in and just leave my classes that have students in it. So you can go through and you can completely check which notifications do you want or not. I do recommend making sure though, if you do have class comments enabled for your students, that you are monitoring that conversation however that happens. Especially we don't want students having conversations in the evenings that perhaps are not academically focused, but yet are still being posted to the classroom. Please also note that mobile notifications are completely separate from this. So if you do have the app, which is what we're going to cover in our next lesson, you would need to customize your notifications for the app. This is simply for the browser and email version of our Google Classroom. So that's it. It's so easy to manage Google Classrooms without having extra work for our teachers. If you have any questions about how to do this, please just let me know.